He'd come to expect surprises with his job, but the last thing Corbin imagined was running an operation with the woman who broke his heart. What was she doing here? Why had she come back after all these years? He leaned his shoulder against the side of Abercorn's dilapidated house. Sweat glued his shirt to his back beneath his tactical vest. The broken mini-blind offered a sliver of view into the silent interior. No movement, no sound. Too quiet. Officer Salas had arrived ahead of them, warrant in hand, and waited at the foot of the steps. Officer Gordon covered the back door. Luna stood to Corbin's right, with Blade between them. They'd found an extra vest for her, but it was too big and gaped around the armholes and neck. She wore black jeans and a dress shirt with the sleeves cuffed to her forearms, hair pulled into a low ponytail, a hand on the gun in a paddle holster at her hip. She looked the part, he had to admit, but her presence here, it unsettled him. How she had inserted herself into this operation he still didn't understand. He'd spent years imagining their reunion, replaying it over and over in his mind. But every scenario he'd imagined ended with her in his arms, not with her standing beside him in a tactical vest, as if the past had never happened. On the ride over, he'd pressed her for details about her undercover work, but she'd said it was classified. That'd been her answer to all his questions. Classified. She was shutting him out, just like always. Probably this was a bad idea, but it was clear she wasn't going to back down, and he didn't have time to argue. If they didn't let her come, she'd likely find another way to interfere. At least this way, she might stick around long enough to talk. As long as she followed his lead, this might work out. The rotted wood creaked and groaned beneath their feet. One wrong step and one of them would fall right through the ramshackle porch. Blade slammed his fist on the front door. 3 loud bangs rattled the windows. "Police! Search warrant! Open up!" Corbin held his breath and listened for movement inside. Nothing. "Police! We have a search warrant!" Blade banged again. "You have 10 seconds to open the door, or we're coming in." Blade nodded at the door as he drew his weapon. "Ready?" Corbin had his gun out. Luna took her position. When she was ready, Corbin leaned in and tried the knob. Locked. Of course, it couldn't be that easy. He gripped his weapon and brought it up to sight. The adrenaline surged, and he took a deep breath before nodding to Blade. Officer Salas stomped up the steps. He rammed the sledge into the door and ducked back. The wood splintered with a crack and burst open an inch, stopped by a brass security chain. Corbin put his shoulder to it. The metal plate tore from the jam, freeing the door. Following the barrel of his pistol, he slipped inside and stood with his back to the wall. "Police! If anyone's in here, come out with your hands in the air." His vision sharpened, scanning the small kitchen and sparsely furnished living room for immediate threats. Nothing.